Hi YouTube, Erin here with another Sister to Sister LARP related video. It's obviously been a while. Pandemic kind of cut things out for a long time for a lot of people, but today I'm going to talk about a company that is very near and dear to my heart, and it's helping to keep me sane over the past couple of years. I could not play any games obviously in person, as things are only just in the last year starting to get back into a more regular groove. But while we were all still separated by travel restrictions and issues like that, Romancing Jam brought us together still in a way that I honestly think was one of my favorite LARPing formats I've ever done. So Romancing Jan is a letter-based LARP company. And I don't know if they'll be doing any more games after this. I played the entire run through of their Regency LARP between February of 2021 and it ended in the end of April of 2022. So I was able to stick around for the entire year and a little bit more so's worth of the game from its start to its completion, which was an amazing way to experience this letter writing LARP. Through creating my character and creating stories with other people. We never saw anybody. I have no idea who these other characters even are. Our identities were taken very seriously as far as keeping us safe in our home location since we were doing it from our own homes. But it was a really cool way to LARP. The way that Romancing Jan worked was that we, each of us, created a character that we would use to write letters to each other, to the NPCs, to send in articles that might be placed in the newspapers that were given to us at the beginning of every month. And we would write our letters and send them to the P.O. box of the headquarters for Romancing Jan. They would check through our letters to make sure everything was on the up and up, that nothing sketchy was going on, and then send the letters to the intended characters wherever in the world they were, which was a great way to keep us safe so that we weren't receiving mail without the no-so of Romancing Jan and their amazing staff. They worked so hard, tirelessly, to give us incredible content every single month through their NPC letters and through the really authentic looking newspapers. So I come home from work and I go to get the mail, and what is folded up nicely in my little mailbox but an honest newspaper. Romancing Jan, you have outdone yourself. And to have that to look forward to every single month, as well as I paid into the tier where I would also receive an NPC letter. My character built up relationships with a couple of different NPCs and became fast friends with several of them. And so to be able to know that if I didn't receive any other mail that month, I would at least get something from the creators to further my story with at least one character. Let me find my name. I'm sure I can. Let's see, society. Here we go. I should be somewhere. Where am I? Aha! There I am. Wait. There we go. Yeah, man. But seriously, it's a real newspaper. So don't mind me. I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea, go sit around on my nice wingback chair and read my Society Gazette before diving into my letter. Good times, man. Every month when the new newspaper would come out, I would scour the single section, find my name, see what gossip was being printed about Lady Amaris Delane, or about any of the gentlemen that she had been in contact with and attempting to form attachments with, as well as the newspaper was used to showcase in-world events of wars and politics and religion and the arts, and when there were balls or events at court that happened, then it was through the newspapers that we were informed of how those proceedings went. I could make it staged and all pretty, but here's the reality of what my letter writing days look like. I've grown up loving Regency and just that era of history, the late 1700s, early 1800s. I grew up obviously hardcore Jane Austen fan, love BBC versions, love my 6-hour Pride and Prejudice with Colin Firth. And so being already so inspired by this era, getting to LARP in a semi-authentic-ish way using the letter writing mechanics, I felt myself very inspired to craft and to create and to buy into other people's artistry, to really lean into my love of this era. One such creative group was a company that was newer when I bought into its first blind box, called Bounding Box. I don't know what else they've done since, but their first box was Regency themed. And so of course I had to snatch it up. Guys, look what just came today. Dun, dun, dun. Look how stinking cute this box is. I'm already in love. Good job, Bounding Box. I've been excitedly waiting for this to come out for months, and it's finally here. So I pulled out the first box. I have no idea, except for one DIY reticule kit. I have no idea what's in here. So let's take a look, shall we?
Oh, you feel so light.
Is it a teacup? Oh my word! Okay. This is the sweetest. Oh, I'm in love. Look how cute you are. Is the dish in here too? Of course it is.
What do you look like, huh?
Very well packaged. Came safe and sound.
What do you look like?
Oh, how pretty is this? All right, let's see the full cup and saucer. Ah! It is beautiful. All right, I'm already pleased. Thing one down. Oh, of course. Lady cannot do without a fan. And this goes well with my only Regency outfit color aesthetic, so yay. Well, that's perfect. I have the instructions there, the pieces of fabric, the lovely little itemized needle and ribbons, all the thread I could need. Now I have to actually make it. Thank you very much, Bounding Box. You made my weekend. It is a beautiful, beautiful day, and I am gonna go make tea. I still use that teacup. There were many evenings of crafting wherein I just need a little spot of tea, and of course I had to have it in my pretty little teacup. Wow, my TV looks very blue. I just want to show that I have no teapot. So the French press will have to do.
Only 6 accomplished women, Mr. Darcy. I rather wonder if you know any. Very severe
It's my little tea party of one.
Speak as I found.
Oh, we're two. I've done quite a few little videos already on this channel highlighting things that I sewed for my past week lean events, and with some mixed results as far as how they went. But my favorite thing to do with the art of sewing is embroidery. As inspired as I was, I bought a kit which came with a couple of different embroidery patterns to make just little wall hoop designs, and those were honestly some of my favorites to make, and it's really inspired me to get back into it a little more.
Circumstances been different. Hello, Mr. Darcy. Never had a son.
Pot of tea gone. 2 hours spent. And it doesn't look like much progress, but though I enjoy sewing and embroidery most of all, I do know that it takes forever. I've been buying patterns, I've been sewing things as gifts for people, and so if for nothing else, because this was an extended LARP, over a year's worth of content, and it was a slow burn type of event, I found that I could really dig into getting into the mood. Forgive me the extremely staged setup, but I just had to put out some of my new trinkets and doodads from my family's trip to DC. I went a little crazy at Mount Vernon. Thank you to their gift shop for the 18th century playing cards, into the gorgeous new teacup and saucer, which is styled after their tea room addition to the original Mount Vernon house. So anyway, I'm just gonna enjoy myself, make a little tea here, play a little solitaire on my very difficult to read cards, but I guess that's my fault for being coddled into being shown what numbers are on the cards. But all right, it's shaping up to be a very pleasant evening. I could make myself a cup of tea, turn on Colin Firth in the background, listen to some Regency-inspired soundtracks, and get to sewing while I contemplated what character connections I wanted to try to create in order to attain a possible husband for Lady Amaris Delane. Well, I got farther than I expected to, and my brain is mush now from trying to count the little symbols instead of just reading the number. I did play the entire game to the soundtrack of the 2020 version of Emma, my favorite version. So it felt very aesthetically pleasing, despite my utter failure. Obviously, because of doing other LARPs, I have quite a bit of a medieval-inspired fantasy wardrobe, but Regency is one of those ones that it's always pinned on my Etsy feed. I have all these different amazing creators that I would love to commission and buy from. And someday I will. I did eventually finally buy a bonnet that I've been looking at for quite a while, and I wore that to a tea party that we did. But someday I would love to have a dress that's actually made for me. Until then though, I MacGyvered a wish dress, which was all right. Added a little embroidery to the neckline that was pre-made, things like that, just to try to inspire me. Just sitting here, having some coffee and chocolate with my new BFF, Cheryl. Best I could do when I don't have a mannequin to do my pinnings on. But hey, also don't judge my pin job. It was very whichever direction I please, that's where I sticks it. I am finally done. I feel like I didn't make any major mistakes. I didn't have to redo anything or get out Mr. Seam Ripper, so I am really ecstatic about that. So now all that's left to do is try it on and see if it actually works. I don't know, for now I feel good. I'm not mad at it. Like, I need to go have some tea or throw on some gloves because my arms are moy naked. But yeah, it's a fun color. It's almost long enough. I'm happy. My current shoestring budget will not let me get anything more fancy, but someday I will have an honest to goodness Regency dress. Oh, pardon me, Filbert. In this be-stickered box, I'm keeping all of my Romancing Jan Society Gazettes, all of my LARP letters. Just put that one away. It's really fun to have some place where they're all safely tucked away together and in order, and just a nice place. My character was Lady Amaris Delane. I was able to create either a character of peasant background or nobility, and I decided to go nobility because I'm actually in the midst of writing a high fantasy Regency inspired novel centered around characters which I was able to bring into this LARP character's backstory and just have fun kind of fleshing out this way. Even though this is nowhere near the type of story that I am going to be writing, it was fun to be able to play those characters and to experience being Lady Amaris Delane, even though in my own novel things will be a little more crazy. But Amaris is the daughter of a duke, and as such has high expectations from her family as to her marriage prospects. I wanted to start this game with a bit of a scandal because the first newspaper that was put out would set the precedence for whoever was playing at the time of showing what kind of a person you were, what kind of a character you were, especially if you were in the lonely single section, then that was going to determine what trajectory you were on. And for Amaris, the issue was that she had received a proposal of marriage from someone who her family had deemed unworthy of Amaris's acceptance, and so forced out of it by her family, she denied the very dashing Lieutenant Elgin and broke her own heart in the process. So in order to assuage the flared tempers of her family, Amaris has agreed to be presented to court and to enter society in an attempt to find a more suitable match. My favorite thing to result of starting the game with this level of minor scandal was that quite a few of my first letters that I received were inquiring as to why Amaris was forced to deny. And obviously quite a few people understood that Lieutenant Elgin was not a fit match for the daughter of a duke and a duchess. But at the same time, there were quite a few people who were just like, oh, what's the tea, sis? And that was exactly what I wanted from it. So I was very excited that that was the foot that I started out on. And in the future, as the months went on and as character connections were created, especially between a couple of different gentlemen who Amaris had possibly hoped to form an attachment with in the place of Lieutenant Elgin, there were questions raised as far as if she was still in love, if it was love when she was proposed to, and if there were any more unresolved feelings to be dealt with before she could move forward in her life. So the drama was delicious. One of my favorite things beyond just the basic mechanics, which made this such a comfortable game, was the joy of being told that there was a ball approaching or when we were going to be presented to court. Any special event that was curated for us, whether it be to go to the races or if there was someone having a masked ball, we were able to prepare for that before the next newspaper came out. All right, so that was me being presented to the Queen. Let's see the Everbloom Fete, the ball. Let's see how we made out. That's the first set. Amaris Delane and Lord Peregrine Stone. Ooh, good. That's still the first set. Second set, Amaris Delane and Baron Demetrius Shields. I have several letters from him over yonder. Fashion. Amaris Delane. Came in a white ball gown accented in red ribbon at the waist and rounded neckline, as well as the decorative sleeves and gathered hem, blah, 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 blah. That's been half the fun, is for these events I get to design what I wear. So I go on Pinterest and I look at different fashion plates and things and hairstyles, and with those I come up with a little collage of what my outfit looked like. We filled out surveys that were then sent to the Romancing Jan creators, and a lot of these things involved what you wore, what you looked like, who you were going to hang out with, if there was gossip being spread. For things like the dances, my favorite part of the mechanics of whether you danced or not was that in order for you to show up as having been in any of the sets, you would mark in your survey the list of eligible people that you would accept a dance from. And if those people in turn matched with you as accepting a dance, then your names would show up together in that set when the newspaper the next month would display who was hanging out with whom. And it was always very exciting to find your name among the dancer lists. So during the entirety of being involved in this LARP, I was living away from home for the first time. And though I was only out of the house for about 18 months, it was especially exciting to be able to share all the drama and the events with my cousin who I was living with. And like me, she is very much into all the period dramas, all the Regency things, and so we were extremely inspired between the release of Bridgerton Season 2, which, so much better than Season 1, hot take. We were inspired by Bridgerton Season 2, as well as the things that I was being able to experience, and we wanted to put out our own little tea party.
In the bathtub. Oh my word. Because that was the easiest part. It worked quite well.
And though I was the only one who was dressed up in more than just your Sunday best type attire, we had such a great time playing croquet and drinking tea and, you know, just having a lovely little luncheon with all my favorite ladies. But then even more so than that, my cousin and I decided that we wanted to take it a step further. So it's sort of a last hurrah event before I moved out of her house. We attended high tea at a local tea house, which is known for its very special ritzy events. So we enjoyed ourselves in what was maybe a more accurate version of a high tea. But regardless of our homemade event or the one that we went out on the town to, it felt very appropriate for the year that I had been having and the times that I had been enjoying through Romancing Jan. I need a tea sprayer.
I know.
It may not do anything, but it's so pretty.
Yeah.
I did the same thing when I went to Beakeling, where I went into my character creation with a couple of scapegoat mechanics, and just in case there were relationships started that I didn't want to see through or connections that I didn't really want to entertain, there was something about not wanting to feel heartbroken if my character didn't actually get married off that I wanted to avoid. And so that's one of the reasons that I started in with Amaris in this scandal of having denied Lieutenant Elgin in his proposal of marriage. Because I figured if the year went by and Amaris was not married to anyone, I was gonna have her elope.
The only difference being that, Amaris actually went through with it. This is basically what she and Valoris ended up doing.
In the last couple months where it was pretty clear that I was not gonna get married to anyone, I had Amaris start to write the letters to NPCs and to friends that she had created, basically saying, guys, peace out, I'm leaving, I can't take this anymore, I'm gonna go meet up with the man I love, we're gonna meet up in Gretna Green and go start the rest of our lives. I don't care if I'm cut off, I don't care if my family doesn't talk to me anymore. And so despite the fact that it was a little disappointing that some of the connections that I've been creating didn't pan out, it was equally fun to drop the final scandal of, doesn't matter, Lady Amaris Elaine got married and had her happily ever after anyway. I haven't checked as of late. I have no idea if Romancing Jan ever intends to do any other in-person or letter-based LARPs again, but if nothing else, I hope that they know just how truly their game was enjoyed. I loved every month that I got to spend with them. It was a wonderful year and some change, and I cannot recommend it enough. It was a fabulous experience, and I hope that there are many other LARP companies that would hope to pick up and do the same. LARP is expensive, especially for people like me who live in remote areas where I would have to fly hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles just to get to these games. And so being able to play a game where I paid the subscription fee and then all that I had left were just the small fees of, oh, I need to get postage, or oh, I'm gonna get this pretty pen or this nice paper to write on. Outside of those things, it was such a wonderful, pretty cost-efficient way to play a game. I know that it does not at all reflect the time it took, the blood, the sweat, and I'm sure the tears that it took for these creators as they curated this game for us and kept it running. But I hope that they know just how wonderful of a game it was that they created. I know it couldn't have been easy, but I am truly grateful for the amazing experience that it was. and for the wonderful year that it created for me. So thank you very much, Romancing Jan. So until we see you again, sister to sister, out.